Love lives here.
All right, so this year at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, we are working with the theme of live your best life. Living your best life, live your best life. Yes, 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 yes. And we are now into our spring series. There we go, the series. Spring series. We are now into our spring series, well into our spring series of living into the vision. And before we get into today's message and the next installment, the next episode, if you will, of living into the vision, how about we say our focus statement together? And because we're coming out of the dark, how about we do it with all the O's for out? How about we do it with all the O's for out? So what are some O's that we're going to do it? Ostentatiously. I think that's an A. Outstandingly. Optimally. Opulently. Openly. Outrageously. What was that, Allison? Oomph. All right, there we go. I like that. Oomph. Well, there we are. All right, so here we go. Let's say our focus statement together. We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. Yes, 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 indeed we do. And I want to say good morning to James Woods joining us online. Good morning to John and Lupe. Aloha kakahiaka to Wayne and Casey. Good morning to Debbie and Greg and Ray. And Amber says, so good, Constance and the band. So absolutely. So good, so good. All right. So today we are talking about coming out of the dark. Coming out of the dark. This is where we are at for this part of our journey as we're living into the vision. I like that picture there where it shows the tunnel, right? Kind of coming out of the dark, coming into the light, stepping into something new. And what we're also going to be talking about today is bringing our hidden beliefs out of the dark, bringing our hidden beliefs out of the shadows. Or we can also look at it as shining a light on our hidden beliefs and watching them scatter just like the cockroaches when you turn on the light at home. Assuming that you have cockroaches at home. Or that you have had at some time in the past, or you've been somewhere where there are. In Vegas, they call them water bugs. I was like, really? You're going to call them water bugs? They're not water bugs. They're cockroaches. That's just what they are. I mean, it's kind of silly. In Hawaii, we have these great big ones that fly, and they fly at you. We call them 747s. Yeah. Yeah. Like, you know, they're right, and come at you, dive bomb you. If you don't escort it into its next lifetime, assist in midwifing its transition, then it really gets mad and it kind of like comes at you. So yeah, it's fun. But we're not here to talk about cockroaches, are we? How did I get on that subject? I don't know. All right. So let's talk about coming out of the dark. Last week, we talked about our incompletions, right? We talked about all those things that we have left incomplete. Did you do your list of 100? Did you make your list of 100? I see some people nodding. Did you start checking off some of that low-hanging fruit, possibly? Yes, I see more heads nodding. I see some heads going, no, that's perfectly fine, wherever you are, right? Wherever you are in the process is perfectly fine. But the idea of these incompletions, frequently what's holding us back from completing these incompletions is or are our limiting beliefs or our belief system that has been installed, which is kind of like our operating system. And in several of my friends and I, we like to call it our old BS, right? Our old belief systems that are still operating, that are getting in our way, that are causing us to experience lack or limitation or any number of things, obstacles that are getting in our way. And so we have these incompletions, and we're like, oh, I don't know, I just can't do that. I don't know. It's like, it's too hard, or I don't have enough time, or I don't wanna because. And what that's really saying, what's really behind that is some kind of a belief system, some kind of a belief that's been installed way back in the day, before even punch cards perhaps, way back in the day, or floppy disks, right? Or CDs. Yes. So way back in the day where things got installed in our operating system, and they became our beliefs, and our beliefs became unconscious, and then it's just kind of operating in the background, and every choice, every decision, every action we take is filtered through this lens of our beliefs, the beliefs that we have acquired or that we have installed even ourselves, or that were installed for us. A belief is, really a belief is just a long-held idea of the way the world works and our role in it. Beliefs are stories that we tell ourselves. It's the stories we make up. It's the stories that we tell ourselves. And it can be something that we think is true, but it may not actually be. We may think these beliefs are true, but they may not actually be. And what we have a tendency to do is we have a tendency to look for the facts, or these things look like facts because we've been collecting a lifetime of evidence. We say that these look like something true, and yeah, they're true because we've been collecting evidence to prove that they're true, right? But remember, back in the day, people believed that the sun and planets rotated around the earth, and the earth was flat. And there are some people this day that still believe the earth is flat. Lord. Anyway, right? It's just a belief, but these beliefs are not, these stories, these beliefs are not necessarily true. They're not necessarily factual, but yet this is how we are operating our lives, is based in these beliefs. Now, beliefs are a good thing because beliefs kind of give us the guideposts, they give us where we're headed, and even the beliefs that are limiting us or that are keeping us narrow or keeping us small, they have the ability to shine a light of where we are feeling restricted, or where we're feeling inertia, or where we are experiencing setbacks. They have a way, if we are willing to look at them, if we're willing to shine the light on them and see them, we have a possibility to realize, hey, this isn't working for me anymore, so I get to change what it is that I'm thinking about, what it is that I'm believing. I get to do that. Now, how did these beliefs get installed? Frequently, these hidden beliefs, these shadow beliefs, these limiting beliefs, frequently the way they became installed is something happened to us. There was an event in our childhood, usually before the age of 10, maybe 12, that because of our young minds and our lack of life experience, we could not process it, we could not digest it, we could not make sense of it, we could not categorize it, we couldn't do what we needed to do in order to move through it. We couldn't even conceptualize it in the larger context of what may be going on. And under 10, the world is still very much internal. It's still very much about me. So how do I, or how do you, how do we relate to what is happening in our lives? We assign it some meaning that we are at the center of, that we're at the center of. And once we've assigned that meaning to it, then we start filtering through, and we tell ourselves a story about it because we've now assigned meaning to it. We tell ourselves a story about it, and that story begins to form the belief. And then the belief gets installed. And then from there, life happens, and we're running our decisions, we're making our choices, we're making our decisions, we're choosing our actions. We are running our life with this operating system that we've installed way back then. Back then. Like for me, a lot of my shadow beliefs or hidden beliefs come from an event and events that happened when I was 4 years old. 4 years old. And that stuff is still popping up its head every once in a while. And I'm soon to be 56. Kind of tired of having my 4-year-old self making decisions for my 56-year-old self. Kind of tired of that, right? So there's the opportunity to look at what those beliefs are, how they got installed, what I came to believe about myself, and for you, what you came to believe about yourself at that young age. And those beliefs have served to keep you safe. My beliefs have served to keep me safe, to keep me contained, to keep you contained, right? They have put up these protective barriers so that when change is afoot, right? Transformation is afoot, which is what we're talking about with living into your vision. We're talking about living into change. We're talking about living into greater possibility. We're talking about living into a greater transformation. When change and transformation are afoot, then these beliefs start popping up going, but you can't do that. You'll be too visible. You'll be too exposed. You're too old, you're too young, you're too fat, you're too poor, you're too rich, you're too, right? All these things come to surface to try to keep us small, try to keep us safe. And these are the false beliefs that start coming out. Now, the false beliefs that we install, or the hidden beliefs, the shadow beliefs that we install, the limiting beliefs that we install them, but they are also brought into our awareness through how we are socialized with our family or our culture or our schooling, right? It's not necessarily that we've chosen. There is the key that we've chosen something back when we were little, that we made something mean something about us. We told ourselves a story, that became the belief, that became the operating system. But also through this culturalization, socialization. So say, for example, your grandmother, when she was a little girl, one of her parents left the home, and there was a terrible accident, and her parent passed away. And she never got to say goodbye to her parent. She just saw that the parents left the home, there was a terrible accident, and then what she installed then was, wow, it's not safe out there. It's not safe. So then the habit that she began to speak and she began to live from was a place of fear. And so every time a family member, every time one of her siblings or her remaining parent or her friends would leave the house or would go somewhere, she would go, be careful. Be careful. Be careful. As her way of trying to ease herself and trying to connect with her loved one, right? And so that's where she installed it. Your grandmother installed that, maybe. And then, what does she say to your mom or your dad? Be careful, honey. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. And now here's you. What have you grown up with all your life in your family? Your grandparents are telling you, be careful. Your parents are saying, be careful. Now you say, be careful. You even teach your kids, perhaps, or your grandkids, be careful. Be careful. And it becomes so ingrained culturally or family ingrained that this now becomes the way that we show our love. It's like, okay, and we even talking on the phone, all right, honey, be careful. Instead of I love you or some other word, be careful. And what is this done? This has created multi-generational fear, multi-generational ideas of it's not safe out there. Now, you may not have had that idea installed in you. You may not have installed it yourself, but through your culturalization, through your socialization, that was what was installed. So you don't even think about it. And yet, so every time it's like, be careful. What you're really affirming is a belief in fear that something out there is scary. And so there's this limitation that now you're living under. This is the way race consciousness works. This is the way collective consciousness works. And you see how it's multi-generational. Or the sins of the father, right? Meaning the mistakes of previous generations where somebody has missed the mark, because that's all that sin means, is simply missing the mark. How that can just cascade until we come along, come out of the dark, bring that thing out of the dark, bring that saying, bring that idea, whether we installed it or it was installed for us through programming or socialization, schooling, education, what have you, that we bring that up and we take a look at it and say, hey, is this idea, is this belief continuing to serve me? Did it ever serve? But is it continuing to serve me? And if it is, good. Now I'm aware of it. This belief is continuing to serve. Fantastic. I'm aware of it. And I can continue on with that. But if it's no longer continuing to serve me, it's no longer allowing me to move forward. In fact, it's now inhibiting me from moving forward. It is blocking my path. It is me carrying all that stuff from the past, still carrying it with my incompletions, still looking out in the world and saying, oh no, it's not safe, right? If that's me doing that, then I have the opportunity to set it all down. I have an opportunity, as we talk about here at Centers for Spiritual Living, of releasing the old belief, releasing the old idea, and replacing it with what? A new, positive, empowering idea, a new, positive, empowering belief. Because, beloveds, right now, you are adults. Though some of us may not act like adults. But you are adults, and there's no judgment there, because, hey, the inner 4-year-old loves to play, too, right? But we now have the ability, we have the cognition, we have the cognitive ability to make choices, to say, you know what, this is no longer serving me, I can let this go, let me replace this old, limiting, false belief with a new belief that is empowering, a new belief that moves me in the direction of my vision, a new belief that supports me, and then let me make choices and take action in the direction of the new belief, because the new belief, you can start it off as an affirmation. You can start it off as an affirmation. That's perfect. That's a great place to start. Start it off as an affirmation. But if you don't follow that affirmation up with some action behind it, with some choices behind it, action behind it, you're not laying the neural grooves in your brain that are repatterning your brain waves, that are repatterning your brain to now default to the new positive belief. Because you can sit here and say, I have $1 million, 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 right? But one, if you don't have any feeling behind it, it doesn't mean anything. And two, if all you do is say, I have $1 million, and you're not choosing a new way, a new pathway, You're not choosing a new action or a different action, and you're just continuing to do the same old thing as you were before you said, I had $1 million. What's going to happen? Nothing. Because you haven't really believed it, you haven't really taken it in, you haven't really embodied the new belief. Remember a couple months ago, we were talking about embrace, embody, become, right? That in order for a new belief, so what we did is we told ourselves a story. An event happened, we told ourselves a story about it, we began to believe our story about it, and then we looked for confirmation bias, right? We've done that before. Look for the yellow car, and then all you see for the week, once I've told you to look for a yellow car, you only see yellow cars, right? Because now you're like paying attention to the yellow cars. They've always been there. You just never paid attention to them, right? So we tend to, because our beliefs are attractive, it's not done, remember, it's done unto us as we believe, to the degree that we believe it, and at the moment that we believe it, that's when something is done. It's as we believe. So if there's no belief behind something, if there's no belief behind your new belief, there's no real belief, there's no real feeling, there's no real resonance behind this new belief, nothing's going to change. So you've got to begin to lay the groundwork through action, through activity and affirmation to begin to really change the mind, change the thinking, change the beliefs. You have to tell yourself a new story and believe it. And then start looking for the confirmation bias of the new belief. Because the universe is going to respond to what it is that you're truly believing. So we come out of the dark, we bring our shadow beliefs out of the dark, shine the light on them, make a decision, hey, is this supporting me or not? If it's not, we let it go. And we reinstall new programming in this day, in this age, at this moment. And it's never too late. It's never too late. You're never too old. Right? You're never too young. You're never too anything. You are right and perfect where you are right now. So this is the creative process that we talk about. It's the creative process of outdating, throwing out the old first cause, throwing out the old cause, and installing a new cause and expecting and seeing a new action. Cause and effect. We are replacing the old cause. The old cause is I believed that I was unsafe, and I know that that's not true. I know that I am safe. All right. And I know that everybody else is safe. Okay. So then that's the new belief, and then that's the new idea, the new soil, the new seed that we're planting into the soil, and then following that up, looking for confirmation bias, and taking action of, yeah, I am safe. Until that becomes the default. That becomes the default. I'm safe. I'm worthy. I'm good. And then the life of living into the vision gets easier and easier because we're cleaning out the incompletions. We're cleaning out the old beliefs that were keeping the incompletions in place. We're cleaning out the old beliefs that were inhibiting us and keeping us small and preventing us from moving forward into the greater yet to be. The only thing keeping your limiting belief alive is that you believe it. I'll say it again. The only thing keeping your limiting belief alive is that you believe it. That's it. It's the only thing. So why not install something new? Why not install something new? So this week, your task, your assignment, your mission, should you choose to accept it, right? Begin to identify what stories you're telling yourself. What stories are you telling yourself? And if you're having trouble figuring out what stories you're telling yourself, look at those areas in your life where you're experiencing resistance or setback or inertia. Oh, I can't write that book. Oh, I don't have time to do the gardening. Oh, I am too old to learn a new language. Oh, I'm whatever. Look for the resistance. Look for the setbacks. Look for that inertia. And that is the key to where those limiting beliefs are. It's the key to the stories. So look at those stories. Then, once you've identified your stories, what is a new empowering belief that you could begin to work with? Discover, find, name a new empowering belief. Just one. Let's start small. Let's not try and change the world all at once, right? Just start with one new empowering belief, and then identify one action that you can take that will support that new belief. Remember, actions don't have to be big. Actions can be micro actions, because what you're doing with your micro actions is you are learning to trust yourself. You're learning to realize that, yes, I can say yes to me. Yes, I can keep a commitment to myself. Yes, I can do this. And we bite it off chunk by chunk. For example, if one of the ideas, the action that you could take to support your new empowering belief would be to see a practitioner, break that down. Yeah, okay, see a practitioner. Got it. So what is the first thing I need to do? Well, first, I need to go on the Riverside CSL website and go to practitioners and read everybody's bio, and then see who I resonate with, and then send them an email through the website, and then make contact, and then perhaps a phone call, and then perhaps scheduling a time to meet, and then committing to meeting, and then showing up for it, right? So you see how all of this, there are several little steps in there around the idea of meeting with a practitioner for a prac session. So perhaps the very first thing you do, the small micro action you take, the next step that you take is open your computer and go to riversidecsl.org. That's an easy step. Once you've done that, all right, cool, I can do that. Yes! Right? And then the next thing, and then the next thing. You see how this is working? So, make a list of the stories that you're telling yourself. And you don't have to come up with 100. I'm not asking you to come up with 100 this week. So, just whenever you feel complete. And then come up with or identify a new empowering belief. What you'll frequently find is that changing one belief, finding one new empowering belief will have a cascade effect on several areas in your life. Just as one limiting belief has a cascade effect, as a domino effect on several areas of your life. One new belief has a cascade effect. And then identify the action step. And then take it. Take it, take it, take it, take it, take it. And that's the way we begin to repattern our neural grooves. So you are not your past. Let's hear you say it. I am not my past. Let's say it again. I am not my past. I am not my past. I choose something new. I choose something new. And so it is. I invite I invite our practitioners and our core council members to please stand and surround the sanctuary. I invite our band back into the room, or back to take the stage here, or the platform. Yes, take a look around. These beloveds are in service and in prayer for you on a daily basis. So let's just come together in consciousness, recognizing here and now that there just is this one life, this one infinite, eternal, this one presence that is all, through all, as all. It is wholeness, it is perfection, it is integrity, meaning that all is encompassed within this one. There is only this one substance, there is only this one mind, there's only this one presence, this one power that expresses itself fully and completely as the embodiment. The universe itself is the body of the one life, is the manifestation of the one life. And so I know that each one of us is a divine emanation, impartation, manifestation, and expression of this one life. That each one of us and all life is absolutely perfect, absolutely whole, is the love, intelligence, is the peace, is the poise, is the abundance, is the wholeness. For we are the microcosm of the great macrocosm. And so I speak my word here this day for our beloved community and each one gathered here, just affirming and knowing that we release those ideas that no longer serve us. We let the old beliefs, the lack, the limitation, the unworthiness, the unlovability, all of the separation, all of these false beliefs that were never ever true, that were never ever factual, that were never ever real. They were stories that we have told ourselves. Yes, stories we've told ourselves to keep ourselves safe, perhaps. But they were just stories. And so we simply allow them to fall back into the nothingness from which they arose. They were never the truth. We shine a light upon them. And in the light, in the presence of light, darkness, doubt, fear must fall away. For they cannot coexist because there is only light. There is only love. And so breathing in, I affirm and claim and know that we now stand open and ready and welcoming to a new belief, to a renewed belief in the who of who we are, trusting and knowing that I am light, I am love, I am whole, I am worthy, I am peace, I am joy, I am bliss, I am magnificent. The I that I am is fully present and fully realized. Speaking this with conviction, speaking this with passion, I recognize that I am laying down new neural pathways even in this moment. And I look for the confirmation of this word. I look for the confirmation of this new belief, this new idea, because as I speak it, it is done. The universe, spirit, only says yes. And so it is this that I choose to believe this day. It is this that I choose to act upon this day. It is this way that I choose to walk and be in the world. And so I simply give thanks for all that is and all that comes. I give thanks for all that ever was, letting it be. I say yes right here and right now to me, to living into the vision, to living my best life yet. I release this into the law, assured of its demonstration. I let it be, and so it is.